proprietor. Sure you want to do this? This place ain't for the faint-hearted.
Sure I can handle it.
Everyone can.
What is all this stuff?
Authentic criminological artifacts. If it did something bad, chances are it's in here. There's a sad, sick story behind most everything here. Just like our main attraction. So what do you say? You can inflict pain on yourself, but not terror. Truly heartwarming. How long can happiness realistically last, anyhow?
You never let him go. Show him how. You never say no.
Okay, so pretty short trailer for one of the Black Mirror season 4 episodes called The Black Museum, or excuse me, just Black Museum. Yes, this will be a spoiler. I will make sure to give all the spoilers so I don't upset anyone. Yes, I'm talking to you, Bitter Truth Show. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Anyway, so you know how I do. I'm going to replay the trailer with the volume down, just so you don't have to hear my boring voice. You can have something, at least have something to look at. So there's a young woman, as you can tell. She is Letitia Wright from Black Panther. Awesome movie. She played as Shuri in Black Panther. In this episode, she plays a young woman who is exploring. I guess she was traveling. She comes upon this little town, this museum. And this episode is very interesting because it incorporates like 3 other stories into one. So it ends up being like 4 stories in one, because it is the standard story is hers. And the other 3 stories that are spoken of during the episode are also very, very interesting. So in the beginning, she has to have her car charged. So she comes to this Black museum. As you can see here, she's walking up to the museum. Then she has she meets the man who owns the museum, Mr. Haynes Museum. And he has all these artifacts that he's collected. And a lot of them are from some of the Black Mirror episodes. So just a lot of crazy, weird stuff going on. And one of the episodes that he talks about is this one here, where there was I forget what it's called, but you have these cybernetic little probes all over this helmet, and a person wears that, and they're able to feel another person's pain, another person's suffering. So in that episode that he discussed, there was a doctor who wore this, and the patient would wear that, and he could tell, it was experimental, by the way. He could tell what the patient was feeling, and he was better able to diagnose and treat patients. However, something happened where he began to like having pain to the point where he began mutilating himself. So they go on and show that here, where he was, I think later on in here, he's mutilating himself, cutting himself, doing a lot of damage to his body. That was crazy. As we know, the theme for Black Mirror is when technology turns on you. And Black Mirror is representative as a metaphor for our devices, our cell phones, our tablets, our laptops, and so forth. One of the other stories was a interracial couple where you had the mother who was in an accident. She is brain dead, and they want to put her consciousness into her husband. I believe it's her husband, into his mind. So a white woman's consciousness transferred into a Black man. That gets sticky because he begins dating someone because her body is gone. So then they transfer her consciousness into the little stuffed monkey. And this man has the monkey at the museum. So the monkey still has the consciousness of a white woman, her, right there, inside of it, which is extremely disturbing to me. Then you have another story where there is, let's see, let me advance it a little bit. Of course, we had the white bear, the suit from the white bear from a previous season here, based on a true story, based on a story in real life, not on Black Mirror. And then, oh yes, the last story is of the young lady in the episode herself. So the third story is of her father. Her father is a Black man who's wrongfully accused of a crime, and he puts his consciousness into a box, his soul, his spirit into a box, and he is the idea of the game in this museum, this I guess you would call amusement park type thing, is to torture her father anytime a person comes and visits the museum. Sick, twisted bullshit, right? So he doesn't realize that in this episode, she turns the tables on him, and she has the ability at some point in the episode to put his consciousness into the box. And what happens is, when a person comes to visit the museum, they get her father's consciousness, and they can see him. His consciousness is transferred into a charm, like a keychain. They take that keychain with them, and they can see him screaming, and he's in pain forever. They can see that. So she transfers this white man's consciousness into a keychain and does the same thing to him. Only this time, now he's laying on the floor, brain dead, can't move. His body is worthless. And she takes the keychain to her car, and inside of her consciousness, inside of her mind, her mother is inside of her. So her mother is looking through her eyes inside her brain. So I thought this was a very disturbing, but also a rewarding story at the end, because the protagonist is not the man at the museum. The protagonist is the young lady here, and she gets her revenge for her father, for her mother, and for herself. And it's all planned out, because there's a certain thing that she does. She gives him a drink of water. She gives him a drink of her water because it's very hot in this museum. The air conditioner isn't working or something like that. And she gives him a drink of her water, and it's poisoned. And so he falls down. He's not able to defend himself, and that's how she gets him. I have to say, this was a very interesting episode. I hope you all check it out if you get a chance to. A lot of different themes that were discussed by Gus T. Renegade and Dr. Martin Kevorkian on the cows, the context of white supremacy. They discussed Black Mirror. It's just a lot of different layers to every episode, as you know. I hope you enjoyed this review. If I wanted to rate this from 1 to 10, I would give it a 10, because there were so many different stories threaded throughout the episode that it just kept me wanting more. And usually the Black Mirror episodes, I have to stop them and do something else, or I just get bored with them a little bit in the beginning, because sometimes they're slow in the beginning for me. But with this one, I watched it all the way through and then turned around and watched it again. So it's an episode that I can watch over and over. And I hope you all enjoyed this review. I hope it wasn't too boring. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. And I'll come to you with another video next time. Have a great night. I'll talk to you soon.